Let's face it, liberals are offended by everything.
Right on.
And they have zero sense of humor.
Right on.
Huh?
Right on. It's the party game that pokes fun at political correctness and liberalism run amok.
But making fun of them is hilarious for the rest of us.
So play right on and mock the progressive left and their fake news media counterparts in a variety of categories, such as race hustle, the wussification of America, earth snobs, Islam abomination, Hollywood hypocrites, and campus coddling. Feminism follies and rainbow games, and don't forget, millennial entitlement and many others.
Right on, created by conservatives for conservatives.
Because mocking the left feels so right on.
Give the gift of all year long by going to RightOnGame.com.
That's RightOnGame.com. Use promo code MOJO50 for a 10% discount. That's RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off.
And while you're there, check out the new drinking game option.
Warning, microaggressions contained in this box. Millennials and snowflakes will be offended by its contents. Retreating to safe spaces are highly recommended.
RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off. RightOnGame.com.
You are about to join Don Neuen, co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio, and Denise Simon, host of the Denise Simon Experience, for a weekly situation report, or SITREP. 18 hours a day, Denise Simon lives her life as an Intel Analyst. 18 hours a day, Don Neuen lives his life in the world of rock and roll. 1 hour each day, Neuen receives a daily SITREP from Simon. Welcome to the Drive Time Situation Report. Fasten your seatbelt. You're now in Don Neuen's car, and he is calling in for his SITREP.
Smello.
What's up, Niecy?
Hello, Mr. Don Neuen.
How are you today?
I think I'm all right. My husband had
Merry Christmas, Denise. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. He had the
Thank you.
a cold, and I haven't been sick since I moved to Florida. And I think as much as I'm going to get it, I got it today. I think it's going to go away, but just wasn't 100% today.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've got on one end of this conversation an ailing Denise Simon.
No. She's not ailing. It's mind over matter.
Okay. You've got a mind over matter Denise Simon on one end of this conversation. My name is Don Neuen, and let me be the first to welcome you to tonight's Drive Time Sit Rep. Now, I'm just in the mood to get right after it, Denise. Let's time stamp it and let's get into it.
It is 9:05 p.m. on the 12th of February in the year of our Lord 2019.
Abraham Lincoln's birthday, by gosh.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that in 4th grade.
Okay.
All right, so what do you want to talk about?
Well, you remember last
mind
week,
over matter?
little Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez introduced her Green New Deal.
Yep.
And I grabbed it pretty fast because it went up on one of the document clouds, and I grabbed it and read through it, and it was pretty stunning. And then I think it was the next day or maybe the day after, there was a presser out in front of the Capitol where several Democrats and where Senator Markey introduced her. And a fun thing has happened since then, because it was really a resolution that she introduced. By the way, it was concocted by her chief of staff and a few other people over a weekend one time, late last year. And I knew that she hadn't written it because there were some words in there that were way above her pay grade. And one of them was quantitative easing. So I knew that I had to go find somebody else that knew what that had some kind of a influence on this document, because she didn't know what quantitative easing is. But anyway, so I'll set that up that way. And the things that are in this document are really quite ridiculous. And the document went down for a couple of days, and they said they found some errors. And so I don't know if they've officially put it back up yet or not. However, Senator Edward Markey, in the 116th Congress, he actually introduced a resolution. And it's a 14-page resolution, and he's got his name on it. And there are several other names in here, and I'll list them for you. Outside of Markey, we have Bernie Sanders, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Mazie Hirono, Ron Wyden, another one of the Hiawatha's out there, Blumenthal, Cory Booker, and Amy Klobuchar, who announced her candidacy this weekend. Okay, so the resolution says recognizing the duty of the federal government to create a Green New Deal. Now, it goes on some other text, whereas the October 28th report cited special report, global warming 1.c, blah, 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 blah. All right. The reason I bring all this up is that the majority leader, Mitch McConnell, has decided to call the bluff. And I really like this. What's he going to do? He is going to bring the resolution to the floor of the Senate and make the Senate vote on it.
Even though there's no possible way mathematically that this would be able to work and not completely collapse the United States.
Well, that's not the point. I mean, the legislation's not even there.
Hold on. But you and I agree that there's absolutely no way to make this work financially, right?
Sure. But the legislation's not even there. I mean, it's not even drafted. What McConnell's going to do is have them vote on the resolution. So those that I just listed, several of them are presidential candidates, right?
Right.
Okay.
Many of them are.
Right. So we've got Kirsten Gillibrand. She's still, I think, in an exploratory committee. We got Kamala Harris, who announced. And we've got Cory Booker announced, and we got Klobuchar that is announced. Okay, so McConnell is going to separate the men from the boys with this vote on the resolution. Meanwhile, the brand new governor of California, what does he do today? He cancels all the construction, and there's been a lot of construction because they're way over budget. I think it's at $77 billion of the high-speed rail system in California. Cancels it.
Why did he cancel it? I mean, I think I know the reason, but this means so much to these liberals.
Well, again, it's at $77 billion, and we can't even roll a foot on the thing yet. And there's no end in sight for when it could be finished and what that cost will be. California can't afford it.
So is this a train to nowhere?
It is now. And the other fascinating thing is that we have the labor unions. Most of all, the United Mine Workers Union, who have come out and said, hey, this will bankrupt everybody. We also have the Laborers International Union of North America. Never even heard of that.
Hold on. What will bankrupt everybody? The Green Deal?
The Green New Deal.
Yeah,
and we have to say it that way because the New Deal was our,
FDR.
Yeah, but it put us back into whatever it put us back into, in American history. But this is a green one. So it's important to say it that way. They didn't say new Green Deal. It's a Green New Deal.
Right.
And so now she has unions in this thing. Everybody needs to be in a union. We've legislated all the union stuff away. But anyway, so now the unions are coming out and they're going, hey, So,
Denise, hold on a second. You know what's amazing to me on this whole Green New Deal is that any sane person would take this thing seriously, which means the only people that are dabbling in this or thinking that this is actual serious legislation are out of their minds. Because I couldn't find in the brief reading that I did of it, first of all, it looked like about the level of a high school term paper. And secondly, I could find nothing in there that I could even remotely go, oh, well, that could possibly be on some different planet or different dimension. I couldn't even say that. This was the most bizarre thing that the left has actually presented that is so far from reality. And so what is going on in the minds of the people that are actually taking this thing seriously?
That's the point of Mitch McConnell. And I'm really quite happy that he's doing this. And I think it's a shrewd move on his behalf, to be honest with you. So, all
right. So let me ask you this: what are you seeing? And I think I know what you're going to say, but I want to ask: what is going to happen, and the fallout from this being absolutely rejected on the floor?
Well, it's not even about being rejected. It's about let's shine a big, huge spotlight on Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Elizabeth Warren. That's the whole point of this. So he's automatically going to discredit at least 3 senators right there that and Klobuchar, who actually tonight on Brett Baer's show, she didn't say she didn't like it, but she said it's a framework for a national conversation. So she didn't say it was.
I know what you're saying.
So what Mitch McConnell is doing, I think, is excellent, to be honest with you. And then what do the Republicans and Mitch McConnell, when he does this, I don't know when this resolution is going to come to a vote on the floor, on the Senate floor, but I would say he's giving the Republicans and the conservatives some homework now, because he's going to bring this to the floor. You get to vote on it and you go, oh, look at these, knuckleheads that voted on this thing. Now we have to package the campaign ads and the talking points leading into 2020. So he's already giving us homework.
Yep. Well, I agree with you. It's a great move because this is probably the most idiotic thing I've ever read politically. If it's not the most, it's one of the most idiotic things I've ever read politically. I mean, it's comical.
Well, I did a show on my own an interview about socialism, and I believe that the Senate should hold a hearing. You can't do it in the House because of Pelosi, but you could do it in the Senate side on socialism. So let's put it out there. If Mitch McConnell's going to give us homework to push back against the Green New Deal, then let's do yet another one, hold a hearing on socialism, and then we can really start putting the nails in these coffins here leading into 2020.
Good idea. Do you think they'll do it?
Well, I put it out there for some people that have a closer connection to anybody on the Senate side than I probably ever will. I got connections on the House side, but I don't have connections on the Senate side.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, why don't we take this opportunity, since you brought up that interview, tell everybody who's going to be on your show this coming Thursday.
Oh, gosh, I think I just threw that piece of paper away.
You better retrieve it, Denise Simon.
Hold on.
Hey, while you're looking for your scrap of paper, ladies and gentlemen, Denise has a fantastic show. It's a 2-hour weekly show on whatever station or network you are listening to this show on. That comes on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern is the first time. Some of them have it at 10 p.m., but bottom line is the first time it airs is Thursday night. And it's called the Denise Simon Experience. It's all interview based. It's all subject matter based. Or subject matter expert based. It's a great show. It's a fast paced show. It's a fast 2 hours because she whips through these interviews like, you know what, through a goose's butt.
It's fun.
But, yeah. So at any rate, who do you have coming up this week, Nisi?
I have Rachel Del Goodice, who gave us the inside scoop on your failed governor candidate for Georgia.
You talking about Stacey Abrams?
Stacey Abrams, and how that all came to be.
I have nothing to do with her. She is not my failed candidate. She is she's the antithesis of me.
Then I have Rachel Bovard, who works for Jim DeMint at the Conservative Partnership Institute. And we had the discussion on immigration, because I say that we're going to have the same conversations today in 10 years from now.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it.
Yeah, I know. We've been having this conversation for decades.
Exactly. And then I have Sherry Few, who is with United States Parents Involved in Education. And the reason I brought that one up is because Trump gave a fleeting moment in his State of the Union on school choice. We don't like school choice. It's the best we have, but we still don't like it. We just want the Department of Education to go away. Just go away.
Yeah, well, people in hell want ice water.
And then I have Samantha Mendelis.
That was quick. That was quick and funny. Come on, give me a little bit of a laugh. Oh, man.
And then I had Samantha Mendelis on the violations of the 501c3 status of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, and at the IRS.
Nice.
And that the IRS needs to revoke their nonprofit status.
They need to revoke a lot. All right, well, that's Thursday night, starting at 9 p.m. on some stations and networks, 10 o'clock on others, and then it's usually repeated at least once on the weekend on all of our stations and networks. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen, the Denise Simon Experience. All right, you got about 4 minutes till we have to go to the bottom of the hour break here. Do you want to keep going on the numbnut resolution?
Well, it's an important thing because I wrote about it. As I said, I went over and I grabbed the document, and it's really a very important summary of the piece parts that these socialist Democrats we're going to be hearing a lot about leading into 2020. We cannot deny that. Amy Klobuchar says she wants to put us back into the whole climate change thing, the Paris Agreement. The fact that they may shut down the coal industry again. The fact that Gavin Newsom has shut down his high-speed rail because he's at $77 billion and the thing can't even move an inch. the fact that what are we going to do about air travel? We're going to get rid of combustible engines. We're going to have to either tear down or retrofit every single building in the United States, every home, every hotel, every office building, every government building. If they're not, we're going to hear about solar again, renewables. We're all going to be at renewables by, 2030, I think. It's impossible. It's just impossible.
Of course it is.
We're going to have to, I guess we're going to have to kill all the cows because we can't have cow flatulence because of methane.
They're already running from my back pasture, where there's about 40 head of them, into the horse pastures at my farm, seeking refuge against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They were doing it this weekend, Denise. This is factual.
I saw them.
I'm sure you did. And did you like what you saw?
I did. They're running from you, too, it looked like.
Well, they'll run from anybody unless you got food in your hand. Think about it. What's their purpose in life? Grow up and get killed. You would run from people, too, or anything for that matter. But what was hilarious was the horses looking at them, because they're used to cattle. They're around them all the time. But they're not around them in their own pasture. And that's what totally freaks out our horses. They're standing there looking at them like, what the hell are you doing in here? You're supposed to be over there. And that's how things happen, Denise.
The other piece of the...
No comment?
I mean, where do you want me to go with that?
You can say, try this. Say, oh, Don, that's amazing.
Don, that's amazing.
Very good. All right, now, you got about a minute.
So we're going to hear a lot about declining basic needs, such as clean air, clean water. That's a declining basic need. Healthy food, adequate health insurance, housing, transportation, education, wage stagnation, deindustrialization, anti-labor policies, hourly wages, social economic mobility. We're going to be hearing, these are the things, gender earnings gaps, pollution, fires, hurricanes, migrant communities, unhoused people with disabilities. Just be
hold it right there, because that was a festive little list of things. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Drive Time SITREP with Denise Simon and Don Neuen. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with more Drive Time SITREP. Stay with us.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
This is Don Neuen with Cowboy Logic Radio, and I carry my Sig Sauer 9mm every day. It's like a MasterCard. I never leave home without it.
And I'm glad you do, given that you work in Atlanta every day, talking about a rough place to work.
Well, Donna, I would say that most of our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners not only own, but carry their weapons, too. It's just the thing to do nowadays.
So do I, Don. And we need to share with our listeners a fantastic weapons company, Tar River Arms. Oh, and I should mention, they were founded by United States Marine, enough said, right? Badass-o-matic.
TarRiverArms.com. That's TAR Riverarms.com.
Tar River Arms, America's first virtual gun store, makes it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearm online. And through 3D interactive experiences, you can even view and inspect that gun you're purchasing.
They even have weekly specials that eliminate shipping and broker fees, Donna. Great guns, great prices, and great service. And remember, Tar River Arms is veteran-owned and operated.
Don, would you expect anything less from a Marine?
No, ma'am.
At TarRiverArms.com, you can search by caliber, manufacturer, and firearm types. Revolvers, semi-automatic pistols, including your SIG, Don, short barrel rifles, long rifles, shotguns, and NFA silencers. They even have very hard to find products such as the H&K MP5. Totally badass.
Tar River Arms have some of the coolest high-end tactical weapons made, all at great prices.
TarRiverArms.com, U.S. Marine owned and operated.
Hoorah!
Hey gang, did you know that the big cellular companies fund liberal causes and candidates, not Patriot Mobile?
You're correct, Donna. Did you know that the big mobile companies have spent over $100 million to elect liberal candidates? They also fund liberal causes, agendas, and organizations such as Planned Parenthood, not Patriot Mobile.
Here's how it works. You, our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners, pay your cell phone bill every month. Then Big Mobile takes your money and gives millions to liberal candidates who authorize subsidies to provide free cell service, Obama phones, to do-nothings who vote for more liberals so they can keep getting more free stuff that you pay for. Not Patriot Mobile.
So here's how you fight back. Switch to Patriot Mobile with unlimited plans starting as low as $20 a month and stop funding the big cellular companies.
Feel good about funding the right agendas. Every dollar you spend makes a statement. What message are you sending?
And it's easy to switch. You can even keep your same number, and they've got great nationwide coverage that includes Double D Ranch.
Visit them online at patriotmobile.com or call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
And for any of the guilt-ridden liberals, that's 1-800-272-8746.
Created by conservatives for conservatives. Their name says it all. Patriot Mobile. Do it now. patriotmobile.com or 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
Ladies and gentlemen, what message are you sending?
Welcome back to the Drive Time SITREP, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen. On the other end of this fabulous conversation is the stellar Denise Simon, who is mind over mattering tonight, as she does not feel 100%, but she's faking it well, Denise. I have to do a hat tip to you.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And for those of you that are wondering why I'm saying that, it's because we can, by damn. We can say Merry Christmas, and Denise and I plan on doing it every week, all year long. Right, Denise?
Okay.
All right, so what do you want to talk about in this half hour?
Well, let's talk about El Chapo Guzman, shall we?
Bye-bye now. Ta-ta. See you later.
You know, it's kind of an interesting deal because he was found guilty on all 10 counts. And those 10 counts had his defense attorney even said that we fought this as hard as we could fight it. But the evidence was just overwhelming. He admitted that there was no way that they could get beyond that. There were more than 50 witnesses, of which I think 12 or 14 were terribly significant. And he couldn't even get past those. So being guilty on just one count gives him life already. Now, I guess the reason is why did we give him the death penalty? And it appears that the reason is because Mexico was not going to extradite him to the United States if we sought the death penalty. So, we wanted him, we got him.
Like that never happens in Mexico courts.
And so he's going to end up in the U.S. penitentiary, what is known as the Administrative Maximum Facility, otherwise known as ADX, in Florence, Colorado. So I decided to, this is kind of fascinating, decided to kind of really poke around on that place. And that Florence facility, the ADX, has enough beds for 402 inmates that will only see the light of day for 1 hour a day. And its function is to house the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. So you kind of have to wonder, why do we bother? If these people are never, ever, ever going to get out of prison, why are we bothering?
Well, as an advocate of capital punishment, I ask that all the time.
So, just for fun, we'll talk about a few people that are there, shall we? Because it was really quite fascinating.
All right. Hey, by the way, that's not where our IRP 5 and 6 guys were.
No.
Is it?
No.
They're like in Fort Collins or someplace, right?
Right. I think there's 7 or 8 prisons there. But anyway, we have Zacharias Moussaoui, who is the French Al-Qaeda operative. He's serving 6 life sentences. We have Ramzi Youssef, serving life plus 240 years. Understand these sentences. They're like ridiculous. Then we have this Wahid al-Haq, who's, by the way, he's got several names, serving several life sentences. He's an Al-Qaeda operative from Lebanon. Abu Hamza al-Masri is serving a life sentence. He, too, was an Egyptian cleric for bin Laden. We have Richard Reed. He was the British national who became an Al-Qaeda operative. He is serving 3 life sentences plus 110 years. Umar Abu Muttalib, who is serving 4 life sentences plus 50. And then I can kind of go down to all of those are all terrorists. I mean, we got a bunch of them.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like to me that it's an Islamist frat house.
Well, no, I kind of thought so too until I kept going. Because we have this fellow by the name of Simon Trinidad who was with FARC. He was serving a 60-year sentence. That was the guerrilla group, the revolutionary guerrilla group in Colombia.
Yeah.
Then we have some domestic terrorists, all right? We have Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. We have Ted Kaczynski, Jose Padilla, Eric Rudolph. We have a couple of those. And then we have some interesting ones. We have some double agents. Robert Hansen, he was the former FBI assigned guy to counterintelligence that was passing information to the Soviet Union. He's serving 15 consecutive life sentences.
All right, stop right there. Stop right there a second. Why do they do that?
Exactly.
Well, I'm asking you, do you know why?
I don't. I just don't.
I mean, it is silly.
It's a formality, I suppose. Then we go Walter Myers, who was a former intelligence analyst for the State Department. He pleaded guilty in 2009 to conspiracy, espionage, providing information to Cuba. He's got a life sentence. Harold Nicholson, serving a 23-year sentence. He's actually scheduled to be released in 2024. He was the highest-ranking CIA officer to be convicted of espionage. We've got one cartel leader in there who is serving a 25-year sentence. Juan Garcia. He was with the Gulf Cartel. Then we got a couple of organized crime people. One was with the Chicago outfit, one's with the Latin Kings, the Mexican Mafia, the Aryan Brotherhood, a couple of those guys. Then we have the Gangster Disciples out of Chicago. The Blackstone.
Are these guys able to communicate with each other, or is it
no?
Total
that's
isolation?
That's the other fascinating thing. The answer to that is no. They are in literally poured concrete. In the design of the poured concrete and the layout of this prison system is such that they cannot communicate with each other like using Morse code. They can't do that. And so when people go to visit, the place is real quiet. There's no noise because nobody's talking. I mean, it's all serious lockdown. Everybody gets virtually 23 hours a day in their cell. They get out for 1 hour. That's take a shower, make a phone call, and walk around what's like a big empty swimming pool. That's their yard. They get to go get some exercise in. Now it's designed for them to be in this kind of condition for 3 years. After 3 years, they are assessed to whether they keep going on and on and on in these kinds of conditions, or do they get moved to the next least restrictive level. So,
well, I would say with El Chapo's past, the likelihood of him ever being moved into any type of a cellmate situation or a less restrictive.
Yeah, nobody. There are no cellmates. No. No.
Okay, so everybody that's there is, for lack of a better word, in solitary, right?
Correct.
Well, how do they lighten that? Give them 22 hours by themselves and an extra bonus hour?
Yeah, maybe.
Out in the swimming pool?
Yeah, maybe. They're not really saying, but they, there's a chance for it. They're not. I mean, it's essentially permanent lockdown.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think that there is a snowball in hell's chance that El Chapo can get out of this place?
No.
That's a good thing.
Well,
I would say it's a better thing for his 50 witnesses.
Yeah. But it's really quite fascinating who's there.
On a serious note, we got to get him there.
Well, he's been in solitary confinement for the last 2 years anyway in New York.
Yeah, but what's he going to be in between New York and Colorado?
Oh, they would probably have him straitjacketed and strapped down to all kinds of things. The only chance of he escaping a transfer would be some kind of a a revolutionary ambush.
Exactly. I would not discount that. I would not discount something like that.
The cells are 7 feet by 12 feet. It is
bigger than some apartments in New York City.
Right. And it's really kind of interesting. They have a 4-inch wide window. They do get a view of a TV, but their TV, I think they only get it for like 30 minutes. That's it. There's a timer on the shower. Yeah.
Don't spend your time dropping the soap, right?
Well, it doesn't. You're there by yourself, so I mean, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if it's a timer, that's precious seconds.
Oh, true enough.
Yeah.
Well,
let's hope El Chapo enjoys his stay.
Well, I would say the one reason that they actually have the timers on the water and that is so they don't purposely do something with the water like flood the place out and everybody turns on their water at the same time, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's like they have taken all of the risks out of Florence. I mean, the desk, the stool, and the bed, they're made out of poured concrete. The toilet has a shut off, so in case it's get blocked, the showers run on a timer to prevent flooding. The sink has there's really, you can't fill up the sink. So if you want to stick your head in it and drown yourself, you can't do that either. The mirror, there's a mirror there that's bolted to the wall. There is a light in there with a radio, but they're all handled remotely. The TV is black and white, and it's generally turned to either education or religious programming. That's it.
That's great. All right. Hey, listen, can we move away from El Chapo for a second? Or
Sure.
Do you still have some things?
No, right. That's it.
I saw a headline today about Mueller and the investigation and speculation by one of Trump's attorneys who's evidently very familiar with this. What do we know about this?
Well, let me say this. That was a former White House counsel, Dodd, who said that he doesn't think that Mueller even has to do a report. And he's right. He doesn't have to do a final report. But what came out today was the Senate side with Warner and who's the Republican? Forget his name. Anyway, they came out with the fact that there was not any Russian collusion. There's no evidence of that, nothing. Warner agreed with that statement, but he did say that he is he'll be fully convinced when he sees Mueller's report. So that's pretty much where we are. Now, I would say that because of what the Senate found out and because of what Mueller has done and hasn't done and then is handed off to the D.C. office or to the Southern District of New York, he's pretty well done too. As I wrote an article about that a couple of weeks ago, that he's in his final chapter. So this makes Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler's continuing to carry this torch pretty stupid. And I would say that between Nadler and Schiff and Maxine Waters and, any of the rest of them, they're going to be rather embarrassed because there's nothing else there. So, the big thing.
But you know what I think they'll do? All they're going to do is start talking about his foundation and his taxes. They're just going to move from one thing to another. These people have no morals. They have no conscience. You can't embarrass somebody that has zero morals. And I think they're just going to start looking at other things and talking about other things. And Maxine Waters is going to stay on the impeach 45, rant that she's been doing now since before he was even in office. And all they're going to do is move their little chess pieces to another square and start bitching and whining about something else. And that's all they're going to do.
Which is the reason that I started off with what Mitch McConnell is doing, because he's asking us to do our homework and he's giving us a lane that we need to all take the exit ramp and get into this lane and discredit not only these socialists that have decided to run for president in 2020, but when we confirm Bill Barr, who looks, I think his vote from the full Senate is next week, from what I can tell, that just tells you that we are now going to have more arrows in our own quiver here. So we need to pay some real attention to the ammunition that is being delivered to us by the caseload to start using here, I would say, really starting this summer.
All right. Now, given the fact that the Mueller investigation is going to basically vindicate what Donald Trump has been saying now going on 2 years, where do we stand with the potential of actually opening an investigation? All this happened in the first place?
Well, I think that's
not necessarily opening it, because I think there already is one, but
right.
Doing something about it that is going to hold people accountable. Is there a prayer of that, Denise?
Well, according to Lindsey Graham, who now is chairman of the Senate Judiciary, the answer to that is yes on the Senate side. And in the House side, it's a little more difficult because the Republicans are not leading any committees. So it'll still fall to those like Devin Nunes or Jim Jordan or Mark Meadows. And I think they're going to continue down that path. And then we really need to put some pressure on Attorney Huber from Nevada on where his whole thing is coming down.
Yeah. Have you heard anything lately from him?
Not a blasted thing.
Well, I tell you what, Denise, you know, you and I have been talking about this kind of stuff for a very, very long time. We've been hoping for it for a very, very long time. But if it ends up coming out and Trump is vindicated over this Russian collusion crap that we've been dealing with for 2 years, and he ends up locking down the 2020 election and winning, I would say at that point, no holds are barred.
Well, I go back to my list that I had almost 2 years ago now. And Trump has a lot of tools that he can use. And I'm not convinced he's even been presented with that menu of tools that he can use in order to assure his reelection in 2020 and to put these socialists back over in the corner where they belong and for us to retake the House. And if for nothing else, I would start declassifying some documents here.
Yep.
Yep.
You've been calling for it for a long time.
I have.
Do you think he's waiting for this Mueller investigation with regard to Russia to come to an end before he starts firing off rounds?
I can't say.
I agree with you. His guns are loaded.
Well, given the fact that he's not going, we have this agreement in principle here, and the language is being worked out for the funding of the Department of Homeland Security / border wall. Now the White House is going to have to use some real craftiness in order to say, look, I'm going to take what I can get. I know that the conservatives and the Republicans may be angry, but we have to get on with some things here. We have to at least, if I'm only going to get 55 miles, then I'm going to take 55 miles. That's 55 miles more than what we had.
Well, and you and Tom Del Beccaro agree on that. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you this. What about the $14 billion that we've got from El Chapo?
What about it?
Is there any possible way that Trump's got the power to use that money?
That would have to go, you'd have to use that in legislation.
I know. But do we have the ability to get that done?
I don't know where that money is, but I know Cruz.
Well, Cruz has entered it, right?
He introduced it, but it hasn't advanced. And I don't think it could advance until we got beyond this trial and being guilty. Now, some money of those would necessarily go into a victims fund. Some would go back into law enforcement. Some would go to other things. I don't know that they would use it for a border wall, but you could certainly take a couple of billion of whatever billions are left and maybe earmark it for that. I do not know, but that would be formal legislation that would have to go through the whole congressional charade.
Sure, which Nancy Pelosi would fight that tooth and nail, obviously. She would want the $14 billion to go to sanctuary cities to build new condos for illegals. All right, so let's go to this new deal that was crafted moments before he spoke in El Paso last night. What do you think? And you hate it when I ask you to prognosticate, but what do you think will be his response and his move?
Well, he's already formally come out and said he doesn't like it. But all indications are from the Republicans and from the Democrats to take what you can get and let's get beyond this and move to some other things that, let's face it. When you really look at some of the things that are facing the United States, with North Korea leaving Syria, Venezuela, Iran, Russia, China, and a trade deal. We
got a lot on our plate. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think what he needs to do is take this deal and be able to have some abilities, which he does have, but I think it's only up to maybe 10%, or he has transfer abilities on monies that he can do, which wouldn't give him a lot. It might give him another, 3 or 4 or 500 million. We're not going to be in the $1 billion range, but I would say, let's get some construction going, and let's put some monies back into funding some law enforcement. I know some law enforcement, some of their budgets have been cut based on some of the legislation that's coming down at the state level. So, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I would say get on with it. Take what you can get, and tell Ann Coulter to go over and sit in the corner, because she's going to go nuts on this one.
All right. Denise Simon, another stellar job at a drive time SITREP. Ladies and gentlemen, we sure appreciate you listening to us tonight. Tell your friends and family about the show. Check out Denise's show, The Denise Simon Experience. Please check out and listen to Cowboy Logic Radio. We appreciate the fact that you have devoted an hour to us. We take that very seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see you next week. Denise, take us home.
Thanks for listening, and God bless America.
Out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
Hey, Donna, Cowboy Logic Radio listeners love law enforcement.
That's right, Don. And Charity Magnets designs and produces beautiful, high-quality products for law enforcement supporters and enthusiasts.
They've got very impressive honor badge car magnets.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got license plate honor badges.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got cool keychains and license plate frames.
CharityMagnets.com. I'm on their website right now, and this is my favorite, the Honor Badge dog tag. Look at that little doggy with the dog tag. He's so cute.
Donna, we're trying to do an ad read, and you're playing around on their website, which happens to be CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute.
Donna.
Okay. Hey, this is huge, too. For each sale, a donation will be made to Cops for Kids with Cancer. Cops for Kids with Cancer has given more than $2.5 million in donations. Yes.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Like Donna is doing right now, go to CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute. All right, use the promo code MOJO for $5 off any purchase. I know you all love and support our brave law enforcement professionals and their families. Show your support today by going to CharityMagnets.com and check out that little puppy. He's so cute. Hey, Don, can we go to the pound, get another rescue dog, please? Pretty
No,
please?
Donna, no. 5 rescue dogs are enough, but I'm going to CharityMagnets.com, and I'm making some purchases right now.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Enter MOJO at checkout and get $5 off. CharityMagnets.com.